The home screen on Pocketbook has always been really nice. It's always been really consistent. You have your top bar at the top here. You can drop that down. Shows you a lot of stuff. Send to Pocketbook, Dropbox, read rate. This is all going to change when you do other things, sign into other accounts, open other things that require your attention, etc. You do have a task manager here as well that pops up everything that you're doing. Main menu library is all I have going right now. We'll go back to the top because this is where a lot of info is. You have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, front light, and sync. Sync will sync for updates, added content, etc. Looking here, all your recent books are on a very nice carousel. Only the carousel refreshes. The whole page doesn't refresh, which is a very nice isolated user experience. I like that. You have new books down here, and you have your library, store, and settings. We'll just click on library. Library goes to all your books. Pocketbook is a very international company. They have a lot of books. And you can see with their scroll, they have inertia. So that means when you swipe, just like on a smartphone, you know, it slowly slows down depending on the speed of your swipe. That's called inertia. Not a lot of e-readers employ that, especially for this price point. It's very nice. A lot just do this kind of stage-by-stage thing. You can do right and left with the physical page turn buttons or directional buttons, home button and more button on the UI as well. We'll explore the store and the settings later. Last thing is the bottom, and this is where you get a little bit of your apps, and you get your settings as well. We'll just jump in there. So you have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, which is pretty straightforward. Account and synchronization. This is where you'll find send to Pocket, send to Dropbox, read rate, etc. We'll go back to the menu. You don't want to press home every time. That'll send you home. Personalize is very nice. This gives you some front light, G sensor. This does have a G sensor or gyroscope. So it does sense when you change it into landscape and portrait. Open at startup, LED indication, key mapping, etc. You can go ahead and pause the video at any time if you want to read all those. Languages is very nice. This is where you will find all of the languages. If you click on that, you get everything from, I'm not sure if that's Arabic, but all the way to Suomi, Hebrew, Latvian. Oh man, the list goes on. There's a huge amount of languages here. Pocketbook is the leader in international language support. They are undisputed leader. Date and time, saving power is very nice. Saving power shows you the battery percentage, auto screen lock, and power off after, so it can actually turn off and preserve your battery. You also have maintenance. Maintenance is pretty useful as well. You can have USB mode, charge or transfer data, factory reset, format internal memory, and screen calibration. And then the rest is just documentation on user guides and warranty information and version number. I do not care what a lot of people say. I like physical page turn buttons, even in 2019. There's nothing wrong with them. It gives you a lot of flexibility. You can swipe, you can tap, or you can press the physical page turn buttons. It's very nice, especially because physical page turn buttons require more bezel. But when you do that, you have to find nice ways to design it in. So you can see they went with a double bezel here, the nice copper wrapping around the stock plastic bezel, which is very nice. Tapping in the center, you get some text settings. This is where you can change the line spacing, the margins if you want it right to the very edge. They have a good edge display, and you can change the size of the text. It all changes live to how many points you want it to change to. We'll leave it big for the remainder of this video. It's easier to see. You can also go fonts, and they have lots of different fonts, and you also have the ability to change it italic and bold. And then if you click this, you get the fit to width, fit to height, status bar, built-in page numbering, etc. Clicking out will long press on a word, information, and this gives you the ability to highlight, notes, search on Google, dictionary, or send to if you want to send your favorite passages to something. We're going to click on Note because this allows us to see the keyboard. It's an unconventional QWERTY keyboard. Usually the Q is not above the A. They're usually staggered, but this one is nice and straight up and down. It's not bad. It just takes some getting used to if you're, an avid typist. Yes, I know you're not fitting all your fingers on the screen, but just to say what's going on. It doesn't play catch up or anything. It is very responsive. Bookmarks are in the top corner there. Tapping in the center for a couple more things. We have rotate, although it does have a gyroscope. You also have note. From here you can mark text with the marker like so and get a big batch, or you can press the button here to do a screenshot and it'll actually take a picture of the book, which is very nice if you want to send someone a page and whatnot. You also have voice, which will show you at the end of the video a little bit of text to speech. Clicking on the sidebar here as well, you have a little icon, and that's for read rate. You can leave reviews, recommend, plan to read, currently reading, star reviews, or just go over to the book info and look at what you're reading if you're unsure of what it is. I'm going to tell you guys this right now. Do not buy this device if your sole purpose is to read PDFs. It's not bad, it's just not good. This is an e-reader first and foremost. This is an international friendly e-reader with multiple languages for UI, multiple dictionaries, etc. This thing is not a PDF reader. There's no long press on any sort of side-loaded content because it just doesn't know what it is. It can't ID it like, say, an Amazon Kindle or something like that. The pinching and zooming is a little slow, and you get a double render and then a whiteout minimap, and then it kind of bounces back and forth. It's not the greatest experience, but it can do it. You also have a few different things here. You have zoom level, article mode, so it strips away all of the pictures, fit to width, fit to height, fit to corners. You have some cropping, and we don't recommend doing that because it'll go through the entire PDF, and we have a lot of pages here. And you have pages and status bar. That's basically it. There isn't too much flexibility for PDFs. We can go note, and then it shows you the notes again. And in this case, you can actually use the marker. It just takes a little bit of time, but you actually can use the marker for highlighting purposes, although it's not the greatest experience and it's a little bit slow. You do have the ability to take screenshots as well, saving said screenshot. You do still have all of the regular note-taking capabilities. Once you do go into the sub-menu to get to the note, to get to the highlight, you can then share and so forth. Voice does work on PDFs. We do not recommend it. This is strictly for viewing PDFs very simply. We wouldn't recommend having medical or educational, school documents on here. It's a very view, read-only experience, to say the least. One thing I do like about the app selection, I do this because you can't sideload in APK files and unknown sources and all that. It's strictly what's here, but it is nice that you have Scribble. And aside from Chess and Klondike, and Calculator, which we're not going to show you, Scribble is very nice because you can actually do some note-taking on this. And this is pretty good for a sub $200 device on a 6-inch. I mean, you don't see too many devices that do that. Yeah, you get a little bit of lag and it's choppy, but when it renders in full resolution, so it's actually quite nice. You do have a very accurate eraser as well. No, you can't use a Wacom stylus because there's no Wacom stylus layer to understand what you're doing. You can add in some text as well. You can crop things, you can go back, add pages, delete everything, make new pages. It's simplistic, but it does have a decent amount of functionality, and it's all with the capacitive layer. And it plays a little bit of catch up, but what do you expect for a non-note-taking device? This device does come with a USB dongle. It's micro on one side and 3.5mm female jack on the other side. I wouldn't even really recommend using this because then you have to have an elaborate setup of wiring. You have to get a male-to-male 3.5mm stereo headphone jack cable as well, and then hook it up to your stereo speaker or your headphones or whatever. But in this case, we have a Bluetooth speaker that we just connected via Bluetooth, and we're going to listen to some text-to-speech.
As they quitted his room, he was alone and left to his own reflections, which were not of the most enviable nature. He was seated, propped up in an easy chair.
So I know what you're going to say. Dang, that's orange. And that's a good thing because this is the warm lighting. I'm not going to say anything else in terms of infringing trademark names, but it's basically warm light or orange lighting. You can actually click on the top bar here. In the center, sorry, not on the right, and you can change some stuff. They both have automatic mode. Now, there's no light sensors or anything like that. It's strictly going to base it off of the time of day. You can turn on maybe a nice little white, or you can turn on the extreme blue. And yes, it is quite blue, but you know, you don't have to keep it as blue as that. You can put a nice white or a stone like that. Now, the beauty about Pocketbook that a lot of companies don't do, even like Boyu and Onyx at times, is that both sets of LEDs like this, it's not just blue or orange, blue or orange. You can actually turn both of them on at the same time by leaving it anywhere in the middle. This also does your intensity. And the beauty about that, the benefit of that, is that your light distribution is flawless. So you don't always have to be in the blue LED mode or the orange LED mode. You can actually leave all of them on to get a perfect light distribution and a good white balance as well. Pocketbook is great. They've been in the game a very long time. They've released everything from, 6 inches all the way up to 13.3 inches. They have 9.7s. They have 8s. They have waterproof. They have glow light. I mean, Pocketbook is a very well-trusted brand. I mean, at one point they had stores all over America. They had booths in malls and stores in New York. I mean, Pocketbook is there. If you're looking for an e-reader that breaks the mold of an Amazon Kindle, that breaks the mold of a Kobo Clara or the Kobo Forma or something, you want something that's priced well, does everything, and has its own UI elements to it. Yes, it is a little bit of a closed garden, much like Amazon, much like Kobo, where you can't sideload in APK files and stuff like that. It is an amazing e-reader for the price. They look good, they perform well, and they've been around for a long time. So for goodereader.com and a full review of the new Pocketbook Touch HD 3, this is Peter.